Hello, welcome back to the Zero videos where we're building a chess application that's going to have zero lag using the ZeroSync framework. This is a brand new framework that allows you to have instantaneous queries between your client and your database, and it allows you to get around a lot of the state handling and other things we have to do in our modern applications that tend to be annoying. Today we're going to be going over how you can update, write, read everything from your Postgres database to your client using the ZeroSync server. And that is, of course, the ZeroSync cache server. So if you were watching from last time, where we left off was we had our read going for our user table. Today we're going to be using the sign-up page to create users for our table. And then we'll show off how fast the queries are by creating a edit account page that allows you to just type and write, insert or update to your database, and we'll see how fast it is. To get started here, a few changes from last time. We deployed it to Vercel so that the login function is just easier accessible. It's not really going to change anything. You don't need this on your end. Just thought I'd mention it. Let's open a terminal and I'll show you I've added just a few different routes to the server. And of course, let's start up our Zero cache and our Postgres. So we'll get everything running. Here's what it looks like right now. Currently, we're already signed in. If we do sign in, we've got chessboard. It's pretty fancy. We like it. And then if we go to our account, we see we're logged in. This is all from last time. None of the ZeroSync has changed from last time. Here's where we're going to start changing things though. I want you to go to your Postgres and open up the query tool. We're going to be creating our user table. Before we had a user table that just had the name and an ID. Now we're going to create passwords, email, and name so that we can verify people. Let's connect. All right, so let's create a table called users. Go ahead and save that, run that. Mine already exists, so we're all set. From here, we're going to need to update our zero schema. Remember that this file, schema.ts, is always going to need to be in line with what our Postgres database has. If it's not, we're going to run into a lot of errors. And although there are some tools out there to help you map it so you don't have to write it twice every time, I'm just going to write it twice for now. It doesn't bother me. So let's define a new table called users. Table, same syntax as above. Use the name of it. Define the columns. For us, we had name string. We had an email string. And we had a password string. And then, of course, our primary key is email. Okay, add this to your schema that we export. This is going to allow us to see what we've just added to our database throughout that Z in our zero provider from main.tx. So yes, in here we provide Z. This is where we have our schema. So we need to update our schema here with the new table, users. We'll save that. And so that we don't run into any permissions errors, make sure to add users to the permissions, and we're going to let anyone do anything again. You'll see in upcoming videos though how easy it is to define permissions for certain users. So we'll have probably a field in our database that says, oh hey, is this a user that has verified their email? And then we'll let them do certain things based on our permissions here. For now, we're going to let everyone do everything. We're going to need to update these, so go ahead and cancel that or open a new terminal and npx zero deploy permissions. It's going to update your permissions. You can do, there is a command that will update your permissions and start the cache. I forgot that at the moment, but we'll just run our cache again. There we go. Now from here, we need to reference the users table and begin writing to it from our signup page. So if you'd like this code, there's a link in the description. It's a public repository. Go ahead and clone it so you can kind of follow along. We're going to go over to signup page or wherever you have your signup component. And we have our to-do defined here. So rather than await a promise, we are going to have to import that 0 provider as in our other locations. Use 0. We're going to use that. And then from here, the syntax is pretty simple, and you can find this in their docs. But the way it works is z.mutate the name of the table, insert, update, delete, you name it. We're going to insert. And then from here, you need to make sure your schema matches what you have defined in your database. So for us, that's going to be email, password, and name. Of course, I'm fortunate here, or just smart. I have mine set up as the exact same as they are defined as column keys. Normally, it might look something like this, and I'll do that just for simplicity. But you're going to want to make sure you filled out all of the necessary portions of your schema, or it'll throw an error. Let's see how this performs. So our handle submit comes from when this create account button is submitted. And this is saying, hey, we want to insert something into users. Let me show you what I already have in users so we can get an idea of whether or not it's working. If we check what we have already, we just have one from Elijah Simmons. Let's add another user today. Sign up. Let's say Jesse. Let's say his email is e@gmail.com and he's got a password of hello world. So what just happened? Well, let's check. If we look inside of our zero cache server, we can see it's been logged that we just sent an insert. We just sent an insert which lasted 1.15 milliseconds. Pretty fast. If we look at the updated database, we can see our latest row containing the exact things that we added. This password was here because I did a hash on it. I was testing out some authentication stuff. You can see this is just what we entered. Now that we have an account created for our new user, supposedly, let's say he wants to edit his account. Do not say that. Let's add the ability for him to update his account just by typing. And let's see how fast the ZeroSync server reacts to these new queries. If we go over to our account page, let's add a function. Let's start by defining who the current user is, and we're going to do a query for that. The way you do queries is, once again, you're going to query, and let's limit it to 2. From here, let's use this to display the information. We're going to choose user 1 because, and you can see it automatically knows what the schema is for each user. Not that they would each have different ones, but it knows the interface of our objects, so we don't have to define any sort of use state, user, define interface for it. It already knows everything. There's no need to use any of React's native functions in here directly. Zero does that for us. Let's display their name, and I guess we'll display their password. It's not ideal. Now let's define an input where we're going to allow them to automatically update it, and we'll see how fast the UI updates, because this is a query, so the query has to update from when we mutate it. The magic of ZeroSync is that that happens instantly. Let's show it off. Here's how the mutate works. You're going to need to say what table it's under. Then you're going to say update. From here, you have to define the primary key of the row you're updating. For us, it's email, so we'll use that user1.email, and then we're going to update the name to be the value. Finish that. Oh yes, we have to import one more function. That is the useQuery function for our query. Okay, now we have a function that's going to update our user's name every time they change the input field. Let's see what that looks like in real time. As you can see, it's almost instantaneous. So that is just how fast the queries can be. As you can see, it is literally as fast as I type. Now you can imagine how good this is going to be with a chess game, because when you're playing the game, especially fast games, you don't want lag. So we're going to eliminate that. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll be diving into how much data this can actually do in terms of how many games could we have going at once, how many moves could be happening instantaneously, and we'll see a lot more of the deeper dive of how this could be used in a web application that's being used. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.